We're ready to roll. All right. TBD episode 70. 70. We made it all the way to 70 with Kimberlee Curtis. Kimberlee, welcome.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You were episode, what did we say, 15?
We were.
15. It's been over a year since you've sat down. We've switched studios like 3 times since then. And you've been busy with your new gym.
Yes, we have.
Which we just toured.
While you've been growing as well. Congratulations on all your success.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a wild ride and a lot more to come too.
Sure.
So your new gym is absolutely incredible.
Thank
this will air, what is it, next Friday, which is what, like the 15th of June, the 14th of June, something like that. Yeah. Can you go ahead and say when you plan to open your gym?
We can. I am happy to report today that we are going to be opening to the public on June 29th.
June 29th, everybody. There you go.
There it is.
And I was just inside. This place is unbelievable. The level of care you've taken to explore a gym, a true strength training, fitness, bodybuilding, Tampa Mecca. Yeah. It's unreal. And last time you were on the show, obviously none of it was built out. Right. So we're walking through this industrial building. It's a warehouse. There's not much to look at. You had to have that vision. Now to see it today fully expressed is unreal. So congrats to you in getting this far.
Thank you so much.
I know it's been a challenge.
Road. It has. It's been tough, but it's wild because even now I walk through and, I think I mentioned on the last show, the vision I had in my head is what I saw in the renderings, right? And then now what we see in the renderings is what it looks like. So it's all kind of transpired exactly how I wanted it to in my head.
Do you have anything to pull up, Tyler, too, while we talk? I think we still have some renderings and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you've nailed it. You've nailed it.
Thank you.
A little ways to go, of course. You're not at the finish line yet, but man, it turned out fantastic.
Thank you.
The equipment all came in as you described before. I know you were super excited about Gym 80 getting in there with that custom stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's just beautiful. Yeah, it was super exciting to see the trucks backing up to our installer's warehouse where it was stored for a few months and watching all of it roll off the 22 semi-loads that came in from the port.
That's so insane. How many shipping containers did all that stuff
11. 11 containers full to the brim.
Think about the logistics too. It's kind of comical, really, if you think about it. Like all this stuff is manufactured in Germany.
Correct.
And then I would assume gets on a train to go to a port.
It does. Yeah, they load it up and then they take it to port and they load it into containers there and load it onto a ship. It makes a very long journey here and comes into a port and gets unloaded off the ship into trucks to the warehouse, out of trucks, back into trucks to come down to the gym. So
you were explaining too, kind of interesting. There's a moving company that specifically deals with gym equipment.
Yes. So our vendor was Commercial Fitness Concepts, and they are amazing. They do a lot of the Gold's gyms. They do other brands as well, big box brands, small, smaller private gyms, independent gyms. But that's all they do. All they do is move gym equipment, install gym equipment, build gym equipment. That's it. Like, for example, our torque rig came in pieces, as did our Matrix cable rig, and they assemble it piece by piece, bolt by bolt. The Gym 80 comes already built, but the other things don't. And I mean, they even are peeling stickers, putting them on each of the individual weight squares that go onto the stacks on the cable machines. So they know what they're doing. They're hustlers. They get in, they get out. They take great care of your equipment and your space. They were just amazing.
That's awesome. Yeah. Kind of a weird niche moving company, but I think it's really cool.
He nailed it though. I mean, he does a lot of them all across the country. They have several different warehouses dotted throughout the United States. So they're literally coast to coast.
Wow. Yeah. And they fully set it up, like you said, the stickers and everything, and they position it for you because you ain't moving that stuff. Like you can't get some of that equipment seriously weighs 1,000 pounds.
It does, for sure. Yes, that especially the Gym 80 stuff because, as we mentioned on the last podcast, the steel it's twice as thick as normal strength equipment. It's 4 millimeters thick.
And it's all welded together.
It's all welded. So yeah, nothing Gym 80 gets assembled on site.
The equipment's unbelievable. I mean, moving around a bunch of 45-pound plates and different pieces is one thing, but these pieces of equipment are like as solid as a vehicle. It's kind of unreal, really, the quality.
Yeah, it really is. And it's just very smooth and built well. And, and that was one of the things that impressed me about Gym 80 from the beginning is how most of it is welded. You have a few attachment points, where it is bolted together, but the majority of those attachment points are welded. So, and the tubes go through each other. So you have like cross strength at every weld point. So, I mean, you're not taking it apart and it's not breaking.
No, that stuff's going to last for 100 years.
It will. A lot of the first pieces they built in 1980 still sit in a McFit gym in Germany.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Who do they have, like a company in Florida that can service all that stuff? I'd imagine it's specialized.
It is specialized. So CFC, Commercial Fitness Concepts, they are trained by Gym 80 to come in and do a repair or pick up a piece if it needs to get sent out for anything or whatever. And then they do come in and help train our staff on small things, minor repairs. If a belt gets stuck or hung up, we know how to do little things. But, I mean, not many people have to call up for service on Gym 80 stuff. It's pretty rare. You might have
I would imagine so.
Upholstery, cracks
Right.
over time. That happens in all equipment, but we have replacements. They send you a lot of replacement upholsteries and things like that to start with. So,
Unreal.
Yeah.
Tyler, do you mind turning the air down when you get a chance? Just a couple, maybe to like 69 or so. Get some airflow. Man, it was hot in that warehouse. I know you're getting AC installed soon.
Oh man, I'm getting on permanent power has been a whole thing too. But yeah, permanent power next week, AC on next week. I cannot wait.
I can't believe that you are the architect of this entire operation. I mean, you are the one that is picking out the fixtures and finishes and coordinating with whether it's the HVAC contractor, the electrical contractor, insurance. I mean, really a development in a lot of ways. I mean, you're developing this project.
Definitely.
And it is the first project to open in Gas Worx, correct?
It is. Yeah. I mean, we do have a GC on site that, obviously handles our, MEP contractors. So, they've been great to work with. We use Stewart Built Construction. And, our architects have stayed and engineers have stayed really involved to assist through the whole thing too, just making sure everything gets done right that's on paper, right? But yeah, we contracted, I contracted directly with probably half of the things that you see installed in that gym, finish-wise, I contracted directly and managed myself, and it did not go through the GC. So I handled all like the interior locker room finishes, lockers, flooring, paint, signage, the casework, the front desk, juice bar, pro shop, all of that, furnishings, the outside area, turf areas, all of that. So I contract all of that directly and manage that part myself. So the GC really handles the MEPs and structural, and I really handle everything else. But yes, I did pick out every fixture, every light fixture, every faucet. I picked it all out.
Well, including the equipment, the colors, I mean, everything. Yeah. It's such a creative project too. And I'm wondering, and I know you have plans too, you are the franchisee of kind of our Tampa Bay area, right?
Correct.
Including Sarasota.
Yes.
Pinellas, et cetera.
Yes.
You're set to open how many?
7.
7, right? So this is the first one. That creative control is probably important. Do you feel on the next one you open, you'll hire someone to manage this thing?
No.
Really?
No, I don't think so. No, I think it's kind of the owner's role, to do that. What's not my role is to run operations within a club.
Got it.
I mean, I high level oversee things, check in with my managers and all of that. But really, you build a staff you can trust, a staff that's as passionate about your success and personally invested. And then you trust them, to handle things and run things and, trust that process. And I've got a couple of great managers on board that are already just, out there getting it done for me. And they're great. And they're very passionate about us opening, which is amazing. So, the idea is you get your staff to kind of handle that part of it. And the owner goes on to help design start the next club, design, work with the architects and engineers and just do it all over again.
I love it. It's such a unique place. You really feel like you're in a kind of a different gym. It's not a big box gym. It's not like a Crunch or an EOS around town. Truthfully, there's nothing like it in the area. And in fact, there's really nothing like it that I've ever seen. I've been to gyms really all over the world. When I travel, I like to always find a little spot. I've never seen anything with this much of a cool factor, I'll just say, and this much of a custom look. I mean, when you're in there, you realize like, whoa, like what am I a part of here? There's something very special about the way it's designed, but also just the way the building footprint is, right?
It is. Yeah,
so the building, explain that, Kimberlee. It was like it was an industrial space, but what was it used for?
It was. So I think originally it was when it was first built. It's two, actually, there was an original building and then an addition, right? So I think initially, from what I understand, there was like a coin wrapping operation where everybody's coins would get dropped off there and they would roll them, and I don't know what. But then after that, I think it was a machine shop for a while, but then it became the Loomis Armored Car Company cash storage facility, right? And that's what interests most people because it's kind of cool. There was a huge vault in the front that we had to remove, because it was in the way of the equipment and all that. But they stored pallets of cash there from Wells Fargo and Publix and some other places. And so from what I understand, there would just be stacks and stacks of cash. We haven't found any anywhere, unfortunately. So I know, right? But yeah, so it was owned industrial still, even for their use, right? Because it was just warehouse. So we had to, the first step for us was a change of use with the city. So we had to change to assembly.
And I know that's been a journey to not only working with the city, but also just, it's the first building in the area that's gone through a resurgence, right? Like historically in Tampa, a lot of people know this story, but, Channelside was all warehouses 20 years ago. Yeah. And really there was no one living there. As you go through the next few decades up until now, you'll notice all these apartments being built. Sure. There's still a lot of construction going on. Development hasn't reached as north as you are yet. You're the first kind of building on the north side of Channelside. So I would imagine, man, there's underground infrastructure work. There's there's permitting. There's all of this paperwork, so to speak, with not only the city but probably other regulators. The county, insurance, all of that sort of stuff.
The health department, the water department, the sanitation department. Yes. So
now, are you working through that yourself too?
Yes. I have the assistance of a civil engineer that's helped. The GC's helped a bit, but yes, I'm all up in the middle of every part of this.
You know what, though? When it's all said and done, it's going to be freaking badass to look around and go, wow. And I'm sure it already is. Like you kind of said when we first met up, it's amazing, to check it all out and go, wow, look how far we've come.
I know. I get all like cheesy when I see pictures of it. I'm like, oh, look at that.
It's truthfully unbelievable.
Yeah, thank you. And of course, that's just one part of it. And those are actually some of our Gold's Gym ambassadors there. We had everybody in for a couple of nights of filming content for ads and Instagram and all of that, which has been super fun. It's cool seeing like a big group of people in there, even just filming content. It's like, yeah, it's here, it's happening.
It's real.
People are working out in here. It's real.
It's getting real.
It's getting real.
It's getting real. And in a few short weeks, it'll be full blown. Probably not jam-packed because, again, like the way it's set up, how you have different rooms and how you're separating everything.
That's not inside of our gym. That is Venice, but but still.
That's a promo teaser video for Golds, looks like.
So that's Venice. So that would be us there. Yep, that would be us. That's some of our Golds ambassadors. And then front, middle, bottom, and the pink shirt there, really quick, that's Raquel. So Raquel is our member experience manager. So she runs our pro shop and smoothie bar and front desk staff, and she's there to interact with members, talk to members, show people how to use the Gym 80 equipment. So if anybody sees her on the floor and has questions about anything, she's there to make sure our member have the best experience they possibly can in a gym. So she's dedicated to our member experience.
Was she there today?
She was briefly for just a minute, yeah.
What a physique. Good for her.
She's a competitor, so she competes very, very soon. Yeah, she's in the wellness category, so this year she's going for a pro card. I think she's probably going to get it. She's looking pretty fire right now.
Oh, yeah. She looks amazing.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like when we first sat down, you were explaining the type of customer, the type of gym member you were looking for.
Sure.
And it was interesting because you recognize this new fitness influencer, so to speak, where you're kind of letting those ring lights come in. You've got all the mirrors and all the angles and these specific places for content.
We actually have ring lights and tripods available for people to use at the front desk. So they come up to the front desk, let us know. We just put it on their member account that they've checked it out for their workout session, the day, an hour, 2 hours, whatever they need. They can take it into the posing room. They can take it and film their own workouts out on the floor space, whatever they need to do. So people don't even have to bring their own. We've got, 5 or 6 sets in there that people can use.
Ready to roll.
Ready to roll. Yeah. I mean, look, that's how a lot of people make their living now, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I mean, that's their job. So, if their job is that and they come into the space and we say, oh no, you can't do your job in our space, then
it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense, right? Why would they want to come? So, we want to make sure that if fitness is their job, we give them a place to do their job.
Yeah, you're not cramming it packed full of really people or machines. And I think if you did cram pack it full like a big box gym and you had the equipment, the ring lighting and the tripods, then it would be a problem. But the way you've set it up is really conducive to that influencer.
Exactly. And that's why we have 5 or 6 sets. And I mean, we might have, a handful of people doing it on the floor at the same time, spread out everywhere. So you probably won't even hardly notice. But, and we'll just tell people, hey, when you're done with it, bring it back. And if they're checked out, we just tell the next person that wants one in use, come back in a little bit and we'll check one out.
I love it. Yeah. Super interesting.
So I don't think it'll bother anyone. I don't think it's going to get in anybody's way. But also make sure that people have an opportunity to do what they need to do in our space.
Yeah, 100%. Well, it's just the new way of the world.
It is.
It's what people want.
And we're on board for it. We're here for it. We're not going to fight it,
Let's talk neighborhood, though. Gas Worx. Yes. It's kind of in an interesting position. You are in between. Tyler, could you pull up a map? It's a super, super interesting spot. So you are actually in between the Selman Expressway. Mm-hmm. The really cool thing about that is I believe, so this is 12th Street here, correct? Or no?
Yes, it is. So right there.
So zoom out a little bit, Tyler.
Yeah. In between the Mav and Bell Channel, so that's 12th Street there.
So the reason I want to talk about this too, and kind of how it relates to our show, obviously this is not a fitness show. We're more growth and development of Tampa Bay.
Of course.
But the reason why I want to talk about it specifically is this street will connect north to the future Gas Worx development. And this actually, your gym is like we said, a part of the Gas Worx development.
We are, yes. We are in the bounds of the Gas Worx development.
I've told people for the past year since we first met about your project, how it will affect the future of the Gas Worx development. And what I've said is it is people don't understand how much of a game changer it is to have you in the position you're in and where you are in that development. Mm-hmm. Imagine people using the gym, coming out, they're looking for lunch, they're looking for a smoothie, if they don't use, obviously, the smoothie shop you have inside, right? Or they want to go meet up with someone, whatever it is. They're going to have access to this development. And you're really pushing channel side into Gas Worx in this more of a connected way.
We are literally at the intersection of, and it's funny, we're in Gas Worx, but we're actually still on a map, part of the Channel District, but then also within the bounds of the downtown core boundary, but we're the Gas Worx, we're the Ybor CRA. So we literally, I know, we literally our building, and it cuts off right at our building. So we're right there where everything intersects. It's so bizarre, but yeah. So, but for all intents and purposes, we consider ourselves part of Gas Worx.
What is the development team, Daryl and Coulter? Kettler.
Yes.
What does the development team feel about kind of your positioning and obviously you're the first major tenant.
We are.
So what's their indication of kind of how you will play a role in the future of the development?
Yeah, so right now we're, they've been coming over more and more now that it looks good and all that, and I think that they're kind of seeing us, from and their words that we're like a showcase tenant for them, right? So, obviously we'll be the largest fitness tenant. I'm sure they'll have other studio boutique fitness operations going on in their other retail spaces, which is to be expected. But yeah, they really see us as a showcase tenant because we're their largest tenant of Gas Worx. I don't think anyone else anywhere over there would be 25,000 square foot tenant. So
seriously,
yeah, I think we have the largest space that they'll have. So yeah, and I think they're really excited too because part of our mission and goal is to be part of the community. That's just been something I've said from the beginning. One of the most important things to me about this gym. The equipment's great, the amenities are great, and all that, but we want to be part of the community. It's building a sense of community there for the people of Tampa, as it relates to fitness, but also just being part of the neighborhood, right? We're putting some tables and chairs out front and all that. You don't have to be a gym member to come and sit out at the table and chairs and visit and hang out and talk to our members coming in and out or visit with your friends. Thea's doing some work underneath the Expressway right next to us soon in the next couple of years. So, we really wanted to be part of the community, and I think we've done a good job. And I think it's, it's exciting for Daryl because, as you know, Daryl is a big proponent of community and placemaking So we got on board with that mission with him right away, and it was important to us too.
Yeah, I think the episode I had with Greg Slater, he's the president of the, he was talking about some of the underwork, like you mentioned they're doing on the Selman. What you'll end up having is essentially a pedestrian bike trail, amenity trail under the Selman, connecting Gas Worx to the riverfront and the Riverwalk.
Yes. Eventually when that Riverwalk gets expanded and brought up, and it's going to connect over here into... I can't remember what he has named this.
Ybor Harbor.
Okay. Daryl's other development. So which actually just got approval from City Council recently.
That's
so
right.
yeah, so the Riverwalk expansion will eventually come up and around the port on the south side of the port property from where it is now, and it'll come up north, wrap around. Basically, it ends there at the Garrison, where you see the Garrison Channel and the bridge, the beneficial bridge. So essentially, the Riverwalk ends there now. We're currently just starting a study through the Channel District CRA on how do we get the Riverwalk either over or under the beneficial bridge, because it's very low right there, but it's also very busy and a pedestrian concern to go over it. So we're trying to figure out which way we go.
Well, and just so people
the
know,
Riverwalk-
you are the chair of the Channel District CRA.
Correct.
And we kind of spoke before. We'll do an episode dedicated towards that.
Of course. So yeah, so that's the first step, is the study, and eventually we wrap the Riverwalk all the way around, behind the aquarium, and it kind of goes up and through. And the port has long-term plans for redevelopment through there. But yeah, eventually it goes up into Ybor Harbor, connects to the bike trail and the greenway underneath the Selman. So that's a long-term vision, is to get everything connected. I think the city's on a real role here, and with a lot of momentum about getting all these very separated areas connected.
When Daryl, the developer of Ybor Harbor, was talking to council and kind of giving the pitch as to why they should approve the project, he used the word interconnected, right?
Yes.
And that's the whole idea of this development, is that the streets, the businesses, all of it is connected together. It's not that this developer or you as a business owner or developers of smaller projects around, it's not that everyone wants to build their own thing. Hey, everyone drive here, enjoy it, and get the hell out and leave. It's this mixed use urban core that's connected all together. That is the vision. Can you zoom out, Tyler?
Yeah.
If people can understand, and it's expressed. I mean, like Tampa Tomorrow does a great job of showcasing a lot of these developments, and there's other pages that do the same thing. Sometimes people fail to realize the scale of what's happening here. And we have Studio HB created this over here, which shows a lot of the development. And that's a great piece too, and we can pop that
live
up.
piece you had on one of your shows with them was really impressive. It's amazing.
It's amazing to see it all come together.
It is.
And I think the businesses are just as big of a piece of this, like yours, as the actual development. Because if you don't have the right businesses in place that have the right mindset about community, you're just going to have a bunch of businesses separated from one another.
Of course.
And that's not the vision of the development
Yeah,
or the city.
I agree. And I think that you still have some businesses down here that don't have that mindset of being involved with their neighbors and community. And, they may do fine on their own, but, at the same time, I think there's strength in numbers, especially for small business owners.
And I think you all support each other too. And there's no reason why people playing at the pickleball crew don't want to come to your Gold's Gym and vice versa.
Right.
And it's all connected, because you do have people that are going to get a membership to, as an example, if F45 opened up a new location.
Yeah.
There's no reason why those same people wouldn't have a membership at your gym.
Right.
And vice versa.
Right.
It's all a part of the same vision.
It is. Yeah, it is. And and that's part of what we wanted to do too, was be something a little unique, and maybe we mentioned this before, but we don't offer group fitness. That's not what Gold's Gym is about, right? So we want to focus on strength and functional training and building a sense of community there, but very much support our partners. We have a partnership with Body Bar Pilates. We don't do Pilates. They do. They're good at it, so we want to have partnerships with other fitness, owners around there too, because I think everybody kind of has their own niche, and, the small studio style, niche classes like Orange Theory and F45, they're great. They're phenomenal.
And they're as popular as ever too.
They're so popular.
People
and
love them.
They offer a great product, and when I made the decision to do this gym, I said, I don't want to compete with that. I want to let them be what they're good at, and we need to be what we're good at, right?
People enjoy different things in fitness.
They do. And almost everybody these days has at least two memberships to two different gyms, or anyway, some 3, some 4. So
Yeah, I'm a part of that club.
Yeah, me too.
I need to consolidate.
I actually am too.
I'm waiting for you guys to open. That's what I'm waiting on.
Well, a couple weeks.
Couple weeks.
Now you know, a couple weeks.
This really is an incredible view.
It is.
Seeing downtown Channel District,
Yeah.
Tampa Heights,
Yeah.
Ybor City, and knowing about all these developments and talking with all the different players
Yeah.
from government to private developers.
Yeah.
It is incredible imagining everything put together.
Yeah, and it's exciting too, starting to see the announcements of what's coming in Water Street Phase 2, which
That's
you know, I
right.
think it's very exciting. So some more residential purchase options in there too, which is also exciting. So
Yeah, people are stoked. There's going to be a line
yeah.
out the door for some of that stuff.
I think so too.
You got to have a future vision, though. I mean, you were involved in the Channel District CRA since when?
Since 2018.
And how long do you live there, correct?
Yeah, I moved here in early 2017. So I joined the
2017.
CRA about a year after I moved here.
So just trying to think, you're talking totally pre-Water Street, vertical construction.
Yeah, I watched it all being built off of out of my window of my living room at the towers.
I was we moved back to Tampa. I'm originally from Tampa, of course, but I moved back to Tampa in 2017 after college and all that sort of
You've
stuff.
seen it all too.
So yeah, I mean, I was at Grand Central when they first started vertical construction at USF, the medical school and Water Street.
Yeah.
So that was just to imagine it then, and then to see it now being built, and then to see the future plans is super cool.
Yeah, definitely.
So back to real quick, the Garrison Channel Bridge.
Yes,
You were mentioning that's a challenge, and we can go into more details on a later show. But real quick, just since you mentioned it, so that's a low bridge.
It is.
And the idea is to what? Either go around and have people walk up and across a crosswalk.
Or potentially under. So that bridge being so low. So when we have events like the Christmas boat parade and all those things, the big boats aren't allowed to go that far up in the channel because of the low clearance of that bridge, right? So and you know, you have your waterway authorities like, you know, the Coast Guard and, you know, all of the Corps of Engineers. They're always very concerned about bridge safety, right? Because we've seen in the past bridge collapses and other places and things like that. Which obviously it's not a heavily traveled bridge. It's not a necessarily like a highway bridge, but I mean, you have a lot of pedestrians on it all the time, right? So we're trying to figure out a safe way, and enough cars to where we've got to consider. They've got a new crosswalk there that's lit.
Right.
We see that as a temporary solution. It's not a long-term solution when you start connecting a beltway through there where you have more people biking and, rollerblading and those types of things. We don't want that going across a street necessarily because you have starting strollers and babies and kids and runners and people with headphones on. It starts when you start introducing that as the Riverwalk's being expanded and extended and it doesn't just dead end into a parking lot. The traffic's going to increase. We know that. We don't want them crossing the street, right? So we're trying to say, hey, do we go up and over and build like some type of ramp or like a ramp basically that
Sounds
goes up
pricey.
and over? Pricey, sure. Either way you slice it, getting across this is going to be pricey.
Yeah.
The other option we're looking at is going under. So what that would require would be to basically like the Big Dig in Boston, we would have to almost create a partial tunnel against the water and probably build like a retaining wall underneath it and take the walkway down sort of underneath and back up and around. That's another option being explored. Because if we go too far out where the bridge is a little higher and you have more headroom clearance, you get out into Coast Guard territory and they won't let you do it. You get out too far. So where boats can't turn around and then it's a whole thing.
Well,
so,
isn't the Fortune Bridge pretty low? I'm trying to think what's.
It's low too, but a little bit.
I mean,
it's higher than this one.
I can walk under it and hit and touch my hand on top.
Yeah, well, the Riverwalk section right there is a bit is elevated above the water level. If next time you remember the boats, if you think about like the Marriott waterside there and how much lower the boats are from that sidewalk elevation.
Right. So this bridge is lower than that bridge.
Yes.
Ooh, that's tricky. Yeah.
It is. So we're just trying to figure out how to get across that. So we just approved funding out of our CRA dollars, not city tax dollars, different, to fund a study with an engineering group and all of that on what do we do here. So they're going to present 2-3 options and we're going to kind of go from there. We talked about a clear acrylic tunnel, something like you have on maybe something like that. Yeah. So we're really looking at like all kinds of different ways that might work.
But underwater?
Potentially.
Holy shit.
I think it'd be cool myself.
That would be incredible.
Because you get manatee up in there and, dolphins and stuff like that. So
you get a whole lot of stuff up in there.
Yeah, I think you get gators and all kinds
I was walking over that bridge one morning paddleboarding, and I saw an alligator gar like the size of this table.
Yeah,
it was
I
like
wouldn't doubt it.
2 feet wide. It was insane.
Yeah, the people,
Dolphins, everything.
yeah, the people who paddleboard and stuff out there are brave souls because yeah, there's definitely gators and stuff.
Oh, yes, there is. Boy, if you could accomplish that, though, think about what that would unlock for the east side of downtown.
Oh yeah,
and
for
the connection on the waterfront.
And yeah, and the continuation of Water Street, which obviously the Garrison lot there, that's part of Water Street. So
The issue you do have, though, is you're running into a lot more complicated entities on the east side than the west side, right? You've got the aquarium, you've got the port, you've got the American Victory Museum, and the cruise ships.
Okay, and the cruise ships, that's the sticking point, right? And how do we navigate that? Look, the aquarium is on board; they're supportive. They want this too, and look, the port is supportive of of us doing this. They because they've got a huge long-term redevelopment plan, but they want it, and they want to be part of the the community progress on that. But the biggest thing is homeland security for the cruise ships. So it is, what do you do with people trying to walk through gated areas and all of that on cruise ship days that's really managed and run and overseen by Homeland Security. And I understand why they need to be there. So there could just be points in times for a certain a few hours here or there we have to ask people, like, you got to go up and around and whatever, because these passengers have to be screened, and baggage has to be screened. Just think about like you're getting on a plane, right? I mean,
well, it's a secure area.
It's a secure area.
And then you've got members of the public.
They scan baggage and all of that the same as the TSA does at an airport. So you just gotta have.
Well,
time.
isn't it literally the TSA who's essentially, yeah. Yeah, that's a challenge, but boy, if we can figure it all out, that will dramatically impact our urban core to have that east side unlocked.
Yes. Yeah, I think not having that connection there has been one of the things that has, kept the Channel District and downtown and Water Street feeling very separated, and by meridian, really, because there's not a connection, right? Meridian splits that, which, I mean, look, having individual pockets of different neighborhoods within an urban core is cool. That's fine, but they still have to have a way to be interconnected.
They have to be interconnected because you have to get goods and services around in an efficient way. And because of where we live, because it's so freaking hot, no one's going to walk 3 blocks just to go 100 feet because they have to go around an entire intersection or whatever, what have you. And it's nice Meridian and Thea and that ownership is reconnecting the street grid there. That's fantastic.
Yeah, with a new exit. So we have a new exit coming off the Selman Expressway.
And you've got Cumberland.
The Whiting Street exit.
Yep, Whiting Street exit.
That'll be great, honestly. I mean, I think that not having to wrap all the way around, Emily and all that to get off the expressway to get over into the, the other part of downtown and the east side will be great. Mostly just because of game traffic and special event traffic at Emily. It keeps residents from having to go through that to get home.
Exactly. And then to add to that, the connectivity in the north in Ybor Harbor, right, which we've already talked about. Yes. So imagine, you can walk from Armature Works all the way around to Ybor Harbor, that new development.
Or take the streetcar.
Yeah. Let's get that thing extended too, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So, man, unbelievable. It's crazy the amount of stuff happening. It's interesting too, all these different entities, like even this Channel District CRA. Why would the Channel District CRA be in charge of figuring out a way to get through under the bridge? Wouldn't that be the city's issue, or like how does that authority work?
Yeah. So, I think that a lot of it is our CRAs are heavily focused on increasing and improving green space, recreational space, and supplementing the Parks Department on that. So it's a huge focus, at least for the Channel District CRA. I think downtown's a little bit in that too.
Right.
So for us, it's, if we get in there and proactively help to figure out a way to get this done and don't put it all on the city. We use some CRA dollars to fund this study and we figure it out. And I'm sure at some point, as the CRA will probably, be willing to contribute some dollars to the construction of this project too. But I think it's, it falls within our purview to make sure that our residents have, safe pedestrian access points and options for recreation and green space and paths and all of that. So I think that's part of the mission of the CRA is to improve that overall quality of life, right? So if we can jump in and help and expedite this process, why not?
Absolutely.
And anything on the east side of that bridge, that's the boundary of where the Channel District starts. So it's within our boundary and our scope. So basically anything.
I didn't realize that.
Yes. So anything east of that bridge, east of Meridian, all the way up to just about our building at Gold's, east of that, all the way to the port, to the edge of the water, that's considered the Channel District, and that's within the bounds of our CRA.
So much bigger than I thought.
Yep.
So the Channel District extends beyond Channelside Drive
Yes, it does, all the way across the port property.
to the water.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So it's about a third, a quarter the size of downtown.
Correct.
Of the
So
entire.
that's right. And so when the port starts doing their project and that over there, we aim to partner with them and work with them and provide more green space, right? So if we can go over there and say, hey, let us work with you guys and help fund some design for more park space, green space, some of these walkways and paths and all of that, it's about us improving the residents' experience within the community. So we're partners with the port and, plan to work with them long term as well.
Do a top down, Tyler, real quick. Because green space is an important point. And I'll tie this into Gas Worx too. So if you zoom out just a little bit, look how dense the Channel District has become, which is fantastic, by the way. To have that dense urban neighborhood is really important. Yeah. You do need green space. So Channel District CRA has the Madison Street Park.
We do.
Which is being renovated. And again, we can do
Madison Street's not being renovated. No, it's Washington Street Park.
Washington Street is being gutted and renovated.
Very soon, yes. We just approved design. We're in the first process of putting together construction documents for that now. So we won't rip it out until, we're all the way through the construction document process.
Yeah, this is an interesting view because you realize, okay, that neighborhood does need to focus on green space.
Yeah, there's almost no green there. I mean, very, very little. We have, just the Washington Street Park, and then we have the Madison Street Park, which is just on the north side of Grand Central. And we purchased a lot along Channel Side Drive right across from the port, next to the port garage. It's small, but we'll make it green and it'll help, but it's still not enough. So we're exploring other options within the CRA. We're looking at some other potential small land purchases. There's not a whole lot more available to buy.
I see one big piece smack dab in the middle. I think that's a private lot.
Which one is that?
Zoom in, Tyler. Do you see it? The green lot right in the Channel District.
That's Washington Street Park, I believe.
No,
it's not. So that is a privately owned lot, correct? Right. And we have approached, and they won't sell. So, yeah, we've tried that. So I think we'll be looking more to potential. There's a lot of sort of in the north vicinity that's a potential we might be able to get, we as CRA. And then I think we're going to be depending a lot on our partners at the port for green space over there, which is great. I mean, because look how long that space is and how
you've
much
got
of
a
the
ton of room.
Right. So if we can, do a lot more green space there and work with them and provide that, then that gives residents kind of on every block a short walk. And then right across Channelside Drive to get over to more green space.
Well, and Channelside Drive has improvements made to it that are super pretty. You've got more trees. You've got more park-like walkways.
And we did that. The CRA is responsible for that work. So we funded that and got that done. And Kimmons did that for us. And they did a beautiful job. So
they did.
And a lot of people ask, there's not as many lanes now and they're narrow and all that. But the point of that, and just like on Channelside Drive and, going through Water Street, it's called a lane diet and it's intentional. Pedestrian safety is number one in dense environments. And so, it slows cars down and it prevents people from getting hit and it works. And that's why we did it. And a lot of people complain about the one lane and, no, traffic's backed up and all that. I'm like, right, but that's the idea. That's the idea.
The idea is to slow you down.
That's right. The idea is to slow you down so people do not die in crosswalks.
That's exactly right. And realistically, all of these conversations towards road diets, public safety, more trees, more crosswalks, wider sidewalks, all of that stuff. Yeah. It's because we're trying to build a city for people. Right. Not for cars. No. It's for people. Right. And a lot of that ties into, scroll a little north, Tyler, going through the Selman Expressway where Gold's Gym is going to be and then into Gas Worx, it plays to that same idea of this interconnected, safe network of travel for people, right? Not cars. Correct. And, you're not doing these massive parking garages and these tiny sidewalks that are broken. Right. It's very Water Street-esque in that 2-lane road, wide sidewalk, mature trees. Yeah. And at the end of it all, you'll have this incredible environment for people. Yes. Like you said, we're not one note anymore. I mean, people have these different strollers and you have these disability requirements and you have, young people and visitors that they don't know where to look when they're crossing a street,
Correct.
right? You
And
want to make sure it's
scooters
slow.
everywhere.
Scooters, and then who knows what's next? Hoverboards. You know what I mean? Like you're always going to be pushing towards a more human experience when it comes to a downtown core. And that wasn't the case for the last few decades.
No, exactly. And I think too that the city does know that, and they are participating in trying to change that by changing some of your parking requirements for these developers, reducing it from, 2 per unit to 1 or even less than 1. There's a new building going in downtown that has 0 on-site parking, right? Little micro unit apartments. They have no parking. But not everybody needs it. If you're a student and you can get A, B, and C without a car, then hey, live in the building that doesn't pay for parking, so you're not paying extra for a parking garage that you're not using.
And why not let the developer make that risk, right? That's the developer's risk to build a building and then to say to the public, no one's going to live here if they need a car, right? These are people that are specifically wanting to live in an urban core who don't want a car. They don't want to pay for the insurance and the gas and the vehicle and the payment and all of that sort of stuff. They want to bike. They want to walk.
That's right. And I know some people, in the Channel District too, that they don't have cars, and they're like, yeah, I'm sure we're paying for these parking spots on our rent, but we don't have a car.
There's some incredible high-paying jobs and some amazing students that live in the Channel District now, and it's really, really cool to see these aspiring like doctors walking around. And I don't know, it feels like a real city. You've probably seen the changes, obviously, in a few years. It's so freaking cool.
Sure. Yeah, one of our ambassadors is actually a medical student at USF. So
I love that.
which is great. So I think, having it interconnected, making it safer. And that was one of the things that appealed to us with the building too, is that we're right on that bike path from Meridian, which connects, around and they're going to improve that. And I hear pickleball courts are coming underneath that expressway right next to our building, hopefully next year, maybe the next. So
I think I forgot to mention it on the podcast with Greg, but I want to say, didn't he say something about a skate park?
Yes.
Right? Yeah. They're doing a skate park underneath. It's kind of like an ode to the Bro Bowl and some of that Tampa skateboard history, which is freaking awesome.
Yeah, and and that's the other thing. It's it's just like, it's funny, we're talking about posing in the gym and the posing room and the mirrors. You give them a place to go, and that's where they'll go. So it's the same principle, right, with a skate park. So if you put it in, that's where they will go. They won't skate in the areas downtown and slide their skateboards across granite curbs in front of office buildings anymore. They'll go to the skate park where you want them to go. You got to give them a place to go, and that's where they'll go.
So zoom out, Tyler. So you guys are a few weeks away from opening, like you said. Do you know the time frame on any developments directly to the north of you, and when people will be able to access that north area?
Yeah, so I think basically they're sort of building from the north down to the south. So if you look at where our building is, there's a parking lot across the street from us. We have a huge parking lot on the north side, which has just been resurfaced for us, for members to park in. So yeah, if you want to go in a little bit more. So the parking lot right there, right across the street, eventually that gets a building. It gets developed. It's part of Gas Worx. The lot to the north, it's not dirt anymore. We have a nice paved parking lot there for members. Eventually that gets a building.
Are you talking about the green space here? Or the
yeah. At some of that green space, and then right here, this lot, right?
So this is all paved.
It is. That's parking for us. That whole lot is parking for us, for our gym. So, but eventually it gets a building. The one to the north of that gets a building. There's a new streetcar stop that happens, I think, a little bit over here. I think we get a new streetcar stop somewhere.
Pull up the Can you look up the rendering of Gas Worx, Tyler? The specific park area.
The first building that they started, which you're seeing just part of it there in the foundations.
Yep.
That is getting ready to open to residents in, I believe, late July.
So exciting.
Yeah. So it's their first one there, and then Casa Marte, which is the one you see up on the top right there with you see some of the wood framing exposed. That also, I think, is ready for residents in July or August.
So you're talking about a few thousand more people living in the area in the next few months.
So the number that I've been given is about 10,000 new residences within the next 5 years.
And probably a few thousand units. I'm sure they're accounting for double occupancy.
That is the number of residences, not residents. So some of them will be double occupancy.
So you're talking about more than 10,000 people.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you know how many people live in the Channel District, just to get an idea of the scale we're talking about?
I don't have a number on that right now.
I
could get that for you though.
I guess we could guess all day, but that's significant, right? So you have 10,000 more people, which again will complement what you are building with the Gold's Gym, Gas Worx. Here we go. Here's a good example. Maybe the overview, Tyler. The overview might be a helpful thing if you could zoom in on the high quality. Is someone trying to sell that? What is that? $76? But yeah, I wanted to look at this park area as it relates to your gym, because what I think is going to happen is your street is going to be the connection between Channelside and Gas Worx. Like you are literally,
100%.
you are right in that path of
100%.
pedestrian traffic.
Yep. And part of the CRA's job, as you know, we've been moving through the Channel District, replacing sidewalks, burying utilities, redoing the streets. I mean, all within the district as well. The plan was to take 12th Street and basically stop it at our building and not keep going. But I said that's not possible. We're going to be missing a stretch here, so
Totally.
it can't happen. So we've just decided to maybe add a little bit more 12th Street there. It will come after Twigs. Twigs is next because it's a whole set of staging and MOT for Kimmons on Twigs. But as soon as Twigs is done and all of that, then they're going to move up into 12th Street and start redoing 12th from basically Twigs north. So we're going to try to get a little bit further north than I think they initially planned to redo sidewalks and wider sidewalks, better drainage, any utilities overhead get buried. So it's going to continue.
Tyler, I know you're blind today because you don't have your contacts, but this is so freaking blurry, dude. Can you click maybe visit and then you can get the high quality version? Let's see what we got. Because I'm trying to think, you'd have Channelside. People could certainly walk through Channelside Drive, but it's not as connected as 12th.
Right.
12th is like directly in line.
I don't know how much this is going to help you.
No.
You're probably going to have to.
Yeah, go.
I think they've got a website now. Gasworks actually has a website with renderings on it.
It's just gasworks.com.
Just Google Gas Worx. Gasworks.com. All right.
Probably a good shot.
There we go. Yeah, click that. Let's see. Look, first of all, just pause here.
I know, right?
How
I mean,
amazing
it's
is this?
no
How
kidding.
lucky are we
No
as a
doubt.
city?
Look at that green
Love
space.
that.
Yeah.
Love that.
It's beautiful.
So
Really beautiful.
actually go
It's just amazing.
go back if you
And you have the
can.
streetcar running right through there. It's just great. I mean,
So hold on one second. Oh, does it switch? The pictures keep moving. Darn it. Yeah, see if you can see a
maybe
rendering
there's-
of some
maybe
sort.
There's somewhere, maybe there's a menu where you can pull down or scroll down or something.
And my whole point in pulling this up is,
maybe
if I'm
not.
not mistaken, in a sense, you are like the main street. Like 12th Street
Yeah.
is kind of like one of the main roads.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what you're looking at. Well, maybe not there. One of the other pictures. Yeah, because I think that's Casa Verde on the right. But I think it's kind of what you're looking at. Sorry, I'm
Yeah, he's trying to find it
moving
here.
around too much. But yeah. I mean, I think 12th Street. It's fair to say 12th Street, and then Channelside Drive will probably be your main two arteries to get up in, and Nuccio Parkway from the other direction. Right, obviously.
But that angle's more westward,
Yes.
right? That kind of curves around.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy too how the fitness industry, gym culture has exploded in the last decade.
Yeah.
Exploded.
Yes.
Everyone has a gym membership, it seems. Every young person is into fitness
Or a
now and
few.
nutrition. I mean, it is something that has become ingrained in the young people. It's like, if you're a young, ambitious person who started a business and who is reading books and listening to podcasts, and you're a go-getter, right? You're kind of living that American entrepreneurial spirit, that dream. You are working out in a gym. It's
You are.
almost like it's kind of like this thing that's combined into one now.
Yeah, it is, and and it's funny, and you see a lot of the, interpersonal relationship advice, and coaches on Instagram and all that, and they repeatedly always put on there, one of the best places to make new friends, meet new business associates, and find a relationship is in a gym.
I believe
I
it.
think everybody goes. I think
Everybody.
it is a place, and that's why the community aspect of our gym was so important.
I'm trying to find, maybe I can help you out here, Tyler, since you're blind as a bat today. Gas Worx renderings. I want that top-down park view, because I want to say the park is on 12th. I think you have a trolley stop. So again, like, the whole point in me saying all this is, I believe you are directly in the center of Channelside and Gas Worx, and you have that trolley stop. You're going to have people coming from a downtown trolley,
Yep.
maybe even wearing a suit after work, getting off a trolley stop, walking to Gas Worx Gold's Gym.
Yeah.
This picture, just try to see the top one, Tyler, right in the middle on the top. I want to say that
Or
is
the bottom,
12th,
or the bottom right.
right? Let me see here.
can't really get my bearings through there, but
It's-
I believe so. Yes, I feel like that's channel. No, that's channel.
No,
that
it's
would be
channel side because
Drive.
of the
12th
warehouse.
12th would be the next street over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, because that warehouse is on Channel Side Drive. So you are one directly west of that.
Correct. And so then, people can come out of our gym and then walk not even a block back over and get on the streetcar and take it a little farther north to get home to their apartment gas works, or they can walk or bike or scoot or whatever they want to do.
It's all a part of this larger vision.
It is.
Yeah,
it really is. So,
it really is. And a large gym like this is important because, again, it's a place for people to meet. It's a place for, it's like a catalyst of business in such a strange way. You wouldn't think of it that way, but it is.
But it is.
And you're doing upstairs a co-work space.
We are. That's part of phase 2 of construction. A lot of people were hoping we would have it done now, but it's this has been a lot for one person to sort of manage on the ground. I have business partners, but they don't live here, so they've been very helpful on other things on the back end, but on-site stuff has really just all been me. So
That's so crazy.
I'm one person. Be patient. So yeah, the co-working, I'm going to start working on design for that, and then furniture selections and the layout, and I have to do all of that now too. So we're going to start that here in the next few months. Hopefully we'll start building that out probably this fall, and it'll be open by the end of the year for sure. So
It's cool you're doing that.
we have a few other little things we want to do too, maybe out back. We're exploring some options, kicking around some things for out back that would be kind of fun and interesting things we can add on. So
Absolutely.
we're already kind of looking to what do we do next. Our main focus is let's get members in here, let's get them working out, let's get them enjoying the space, making new friends, meet new people, seeing their people that they're already friends with at other gyms, right? They all come together in groups, it seems. So let's just get them in there, and then we take it to the next level, the next step, do the next spaces, and see how we can continuously improve the member experience, because that's what it's about.
That's the forefront, right? And you also showed me an area upstairs where you're going to have a barbershop.
We do. Barber Co. Those guys, they're great. So
Pull up Barberco too. I
Yeah.
got to see this brand. I got to see these guys.
they're awesome. So Berto and Cruz are the owners. Love those guys. They're so fun, and yeah, they have a barbershop now over at Altus Grand. So that's their first shop. Or their second shop in town will be us. I think they'll expand and build out even further over time, and plan to be with us for the long run, and probably in every one of our gyms. But they are.
Is this it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go to their
Go to
Instagram.
the Instagram. Yeah, I would go there. Yeah, I'd go to the Instagram. Yep. Yeah, right there.
You're also looking from like a football field away.
They have a pretty big following. A lot of their clients are going to be coming to our gym. So we actually have a collab reel on there somewhere, maybe about them coming to us. I know it's on our page.
Now, who
It's
approached who about this partnership? There you are.
right there in the middle. So, well, they were first real estate clients of mine. So, so we've been working on some of their additional future spaces to lease so they can kind of grow their brand. They want to have multiple small locations all over Tampa. So they started as clients. We hit it off, started talking about this gym thing. And I said, hey, wait a minute. We've got a lot of guys coming in the gym and a lot of guys who need haircuts and shaves and whatnot. Why don't we talk about going in the space? Because realistically, women, we have our stylists and we don't change, and we're not going to just pop in somewhere to get our hair done. That's not how we roll.
It's a big deal. Yeah.
It's a big deal. It's a whole day.
Oh, yeah.
So, right. So, but for guys, they're like, hey, they do good haircuts and good shaves and good beard trims. We'll go here. It's convenient. It's at our gym.
You could stay at Gold's all day. You
All
can get a
day.
haircut, shower up, put your suit on, be in the co-work space.
That's right. Pop downstairs, grab a smoothie, go back.
Get a meal in
another
after work,
workout,
get a
another
cardio
workout.
in. I mean, it's like, it's this destination. And then you're next to 4 green fields too.
We are. Yeah. And we've been starting to work with them a little bit on adding a few menu items that might be a little bit more in line with the bodybuilding community. We hope that they'll,
Ooh.
have that ready on time. So for our opening, but yeah, we would like to see them kind of add to their menu a little bit to be something that our members would enjoy.
Can you go back to either the map if you have it pulled up, Tyler, or the Gold's or the Gas Worx rendering? For so long, and maybe this is a Florida thing, but I think it's a more national thing. Real estate development in these suburban communities had these franchises, right? That whether it was a nail salon or a gym or all this sort of stuff, and everything was so vanilla and didn't have character and didn't have a sense of community. Again, maybe this is just Florida. I think Florida got the crappy end of the stick because we have had so much development over decades and decades. What's happening now is so different in terms of livability. Like the fact that you as a Gold's Gym owner would cross-pollinate with a restaurant bar concept to have more items on the menu that were maybe healthier, less oil, less fatty, whatever that may be.
Right.
That can't happen in a shopping center with a Chipotle and a Moe's and a freaking Smoothie King.
No.
They all have their products, they all have their box and
That's
their
right.
business model.
That's right.
There's no crossing paths. And I
Right.
feel like what's going to end up happening with this new development and with everything we've talked about today is you're going to have that cross collaboration all across the board.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think even if it's a national brand of some sort, that that community spirit there and collaboration is just going to be so palpable. They don't have a choice. But
Right.
hey, if you want to be a part of this community, we're all in here at Gas Worx, then we're going to collaborate and work together. So that was something I thought about. How can I? And it's also how can I help my neighbor and how can they help us, right?
Right.
And because we all need to succeed here together. So, so we've come up with a few ideas with them, and they're working on things, and then I think that'll come along at some point. But and it's just like I'm talking about, partnering with other fitness studios, and and I think we're gonna work a little bit with Protein House, which is over on Meridian, right?
Love Protein House.
Yep, same. And so work with them a bit, and and try to find ways that we can all, lift each other up and be successful together. So, we're exploring some other partnerships and other opportunities, with different people and providers and things like that. So, there'll be more to come for us as we grow.
Well, it's only the beginning of all of this development.
Only the beginning.
It really is. And Tampa's come a long way.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that it's only the beginning, because we have some people that like see renderings or whatever, and they're like, oh, well, you don't have X, Y, and Z, and I'm like, we're not even open yet.
Yeah,
Like, just give us a minute.
Give us a minute on the actual businesses, but also on the development itself.
All of it,
people need to
just-
understand this takes years and years to fall into place.
It takes years and years. There's so many steps to the process. It's just, you have a small team of people that are trying to create basically a city within a city, right? So it takes time.
Well, even just looking at this map, just this little screenshot, this snapshot in time, when was this taken? It doesn't say. Maybe this is more recent. This is probably, let's say, a year ago, right?
Gas Worx is huge. I mean, and looking, and it even, some of it even goes farther down east than this. I mean, it's Gas Worx is huge.
Well, you're talking about an entire city being built. I mean, in like a literal sense. So it's not only the development itself that's going to take years, but it's this like cultural shift into whatever this urban core becomes, and however it ends up in decades from now, right? Like the people, the businesses collaborating, the different products, the different services. Maybe there's going to be some ingenuity that comes out of these different places collaborating. Maybe there's a funny little, menu item that you and Four Green Fields create, right? Like who knows what's on the table? It truthfully is only the beginning.
It is, and I think that the resident experience in cities is everything from literally what they can get on the menu to what it's like to drive in their car and where they live, and what
even the energy,
the vibe, right? It's a whole thing. You have to look at the collective whole of the city down to the details. You got to drill down into the details, because the details matter.
The details absolutely matter, and amazing things come out of weird little niche cities. Like look at the grunge movement in Seattle, right? Nirvana, like all these little cultural movements, even like San Francisco, you name it, right? Tampa one day will have its moment where we create something for the nation, but maybe the world to experience.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows? And I think we're on our way, and it's, and I know everybody wants to talk about Water Street a lot, but I mean, they're owed so much credit for launching this whole new wave and movement here. I mean, the vision that, Jeff had for this city, and the risk he took on little Tampa at the time, it's a big risk, and I think without that catalyst, I don't know that we would be as far along as we are. And then you have Daryl that came right behind. He was already buying a lot of Ebor. He already saw a vision too, and he had a lot of foresight there, So I think he had a little bit of longer range plan for some of this and was working on those things at the same time. But, but Jeff buying the team and all of that and really launching that. And then you have Daryl right behind that. And then you have other developers. I mean, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Coulter, building One Tampa and, the Pendry and, all of them.
Armature Worx,
all of it. Yeah, right. So, I mean, not to give any one person credit and not another, but
right.
I think without that launch of Water Street, we wouldn't be as far as we are. And I don't know if as many people and investors with money coming in from other places would have believed in us as much.
I think most importantly is the proof of concept.
Correct.
The if you build it, they will come attitude he kind of had initially.
Yep.
Built it, and here they are. And you go there, the restaurants are full. People are
right.
spending money. People are enjoying this walkable lifestyle.
They are.
And now that American culture has shifted back towards the American downtown, seeing Water Street full, seeing the success of it, you realize this is what people want.
Yeah.
Like, this is what people want.
Yeah.
And Tampa, just to, again, like that map, looking from a top-down view, the amount of vacant land, the amount of warehouses, the amount of space that could turn into that, right? That could turn into that walkable urban neighborhood is incredible. There's nothing like it in the country. We have, I want to say Gas Worx in Ybor Harbor alone is like 60, 70 plus acres.
75.
Is it 75? The scale, right? And then you add on the other independently owned lots, the other smaller developers that are just as much a part of this whole
Very
process
so.
as the larger
Very
developments.
much so.
I've said this on the show before, and I've spoke about it with larger developers. I've said, look, those infill developments are as important as the larger ones. If you don't have infill in between the large developments, you don't have that interconnected nature.
Not at all. And that's why I mentioned culture, development too, because I mean, Tampa down the urban core has not seen a for sale building in a very long time. Honestly, I don't remember the most recent one. It would have been maybe Ventana might be the most.
But
that's still, it's
Ventana, the place, I forgot. I always forget. Is it Element or Sky Point? Is the condo?
Sky Point. Sky Point.
Sky,
but that's it.
That's it.
And the towers.
And even back then, a lot of those, when they were built as condos, because of the crash, had to be apartments and rentals. And
At
only
first.
now they're being resold over the last few years.
Yeah, right. Some of them, yeah. So, so kudos to Coulter for saying, time for a new for sale building, right? And let's do it. Let's make it really tall and really nice with really nice amenities. So they'll be the next for sale building online in the urban core, right? So that's exciting. I mean, the Pendry will be right behind them, but I believe Coulter and One Tampa opens next before the Pendry does. But you've got to look at those small infill developers too and say that's a big piece of the puzzle. Right?
Oh yeah,
because people don't want to just rent. There are still people who want to own their own condo.
And the larger developers want smaller developers to come in and create their own concepts.
Yes.
These larger developers have their role. They have these massive visions for their areas. They want other people to come in and have ownership of real estate.
Absolutely.
They're not trying to keep anyone out.
No.
And something I've noticed that I find super fascinating, and I'm thankful that we have it here, is this level of camaraderie at the top.
Yeah. I agree.
You talk to Roger German at the Florida Aquarium. You talk to Greg Slater at Thea, all the way to the private enterprises, Daryl, and all these people that are involved in shaping our urban core. They really are on the same page of a collaboration with each other. There's I haven't heard one aspect of competition where it's like, I want to build this and keep these people out. No.
None.
Everything being built is for everyone. My grandfather used to say downtown is like everyone's backyard.
Exactly.
And it truthfully feels that way.
It
When
really
you walk
is.
on the Riverwalk and you see people from different parts of the country and people from around the world enjoying Tampa's downtown, you go, this is freaking cool.
It is. It's amazing. And, and the aquarium just had record attendance. I mean, they're
Over a million
over like
people.
1.2 or 3 million. It's just like
Crazy.
insane, right? And their expansion is going to be great. I don't know if you saw, but the CRA just committed $15 million towards their expansion.
It's amazing.
And new outdoor exhibits. So yeah, Roger's great. And the aquarium's amazing. It's a huge anchor point, I think, for the Channel District.
Talk about a pioneer.
Yeah, no question.
1992 2, I
Yeah.
want to say,
Yeah. Yeah.
in the 90s. I mean, I remember going there as a little kid, and back then you're like, this thing's in the middle of nowhere.
Where it was nothing. It's surrounded by warehouses.
Surrounded by warehouses and nothing. And
Right.
now it's going to play a really important role in the Riverwalk, like we talked
Yes.
about, and everything coming in the future.
Definitely. Yeah. I think a lot of credit, it should be given to some of these people who came in early and just said, we believe in this and we see the long-term vision and, let's just go for it because we believe in Tampa,
Even like when my grandfather was mayor in the late 90s and 2000s, him putting in all the city parking lots in Ybor, Hillsborough Community College, the streetcar line. That streetcar line back then, people were like, what the hell is this for? Who's going to ride it? It's a waste of money, blah, 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 blah. And now they've experienced record ridership year after year after year. People love that thing.
They do.
We need to extend that
It
streetcar.
needs to extend. I mean, there's no reason not to. And I think it needs to extend beyond the extension plans that it has right now.
Totally agree.
We need some type of people mover from downtown to the airport that's not a car. So,
Totally agree.
I
think it needs to go down 275. It needs to go up to Tampa Heights.
TPA, record number of visitors and tourists, new airlines coming on, new routes, a new terminal being built. I mean, TPA's expansion. I mean, look, if you look at any city and you see an airport growing the way TPA is growing and the reinvestment that they're making, that should tell you everything you need to know about the long-term growth of this city, right? I mean, because your airport is your main hub in and out.
Well, interestingly, Tampa International Airport, when that was all conceptualized in the 1960s, crazy enough, my grandfather was also mayor in the late 60s and 70s. When they brought that plan to him, that spoke design where you have the hub and then, terminal ABC, people were like, what is this? I've never seen this before. I've never heard of this. Can you imagine if they said no to that plan back then?
I know,
How
right?
the hell would you fix
And
that?
as it turns
You'd have in
out-
Atlanta or in Orlando or
right.
one of these freaking airports.
As it turns out, that design is the most effective and efficient design for any airport.
And
right?
I
thank
think-
goodness they did that here.
Absolutely. Because
Yeah.
playing catch up,
It's brutal.
It is brutal.
And I think they're seeing that now, like the pain of growth on the new Howard Franklin and some of that, and the I-4 interchanges are, pretty painful. So I think it's, not looking forward, playing catch up, especially on infrastructure is it's painful in the community, it's painful on the municipalities, it's painful on the construction workers, it's painful on the budget,
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
it's tough. It's tough to come back in and retrofit for growth. You just have to think about it ahead and really try to have that future forward vision to say, I think the city is going to get bigger, so I think we need to do this and accommodate, future growth.
in a strange way, it's all catch up though. Zoom out one click, Tyler.
Yeah,
And
somewhat.
it is because when you look at pictures of Tampa from the early 1900s, you will see a city that's denser than it is today. You won't see Interstate 275 or I-4. You won't see the Selman Expressway. You'll see a massive streetcar network. You'll see businesses connected. This entire area in the center of the map that we're looking at, Encore, this is Nucio, all that was urban. This was all a connected urban environment. If anything, all of this development is really an ode to the past way of an American downtown.
Right.
We're not reinventing anything.
Yeah.
We're actually, in a lot of ways, bringing back what was once phenomenal, which was this just dense urban core.
Agreed. And figuring out how highways like 275 that cut neighborhoods in half and basically segregated areas away from one another.
Shameful.
Right. How now do we work around that problem and reconnect
Correct.
neighborhoods
Yeah.
despite these highways that will obviously always be there now?
Recognizing that they play a role. They play a role in commuters maybe going from Brandon through Tampa to St. Pete, but of course, hurricane evacuation routes,
Of course.
logistics. There's so many reasons to include
Yeah.
highways in the conversation.
Oh, yeah.
But also recognizing that they destroyed our urban core, and there's no denying that.
Oh,
I mean,
I
they
agree.
bulldozed an incredible amount of the black businesses on Central Avenue, all through West Tampa. West Tampa was gutted. I mean, that was
Agreed.
a massive.
Yeah.
A massive urban environment. West Tampa was its own city.
Yeah.
It had its own downtown.
Agreed. And so now we're figuring out how do we reconnect. And I think all of these large developments related group in West Tampa. I mean, they get look, that's huge. It's a huge improvement for the, for
is.
the city. And they're helping to, get us all, reconnected. Right. So, and I think you're right. And, it's just figuring out ways, and it's like doing things under overpasses like Thea's doing and all that. It's just reconnecting. And the fact that they did the beltway under their highways, I think at the same time they built those, or shortly after, and made this interconnectedness, has made the expressways with Thea feel less divisible than 275 and I-4.
I think you're exactly right.
Like, to me, the Thea expressways do not feel like they divide our communities in the same way.
And in the same side of the coin, and Greg is fantastic, and his vision is fantastic.
Yeah.
But let me just say, what a horrible place for a highway.
Right.
I mean, literally straight through our downtown.
Way before his time.
Of course. But just to say that moving
Yeah.
forward, right?
Oh,
he does have that right idea and that right vision.
Correct.
But yeah, it is a freaking highway that goes right through our urban core.
be there.
Again, thank God all the streets underneath connect. You do have space. And guess what? I would argue in kind of a strange way, it's a great thing to have a long shaded, right? It's underneath an overpath,
path.
protected from the weather, protected from the sun. You've got a bike path, a little skate park underneath.
That's what I'm saying. The fact that it's way more
Maybe it'll all work out,
connected
right?
underneath.
Yeah.
Those make them feel,
Yeah, and
a little
maybe it's a
less
good thing.
intrusive.
Maybe a lot of people who are upset about the highway system should understand that, hey, guess what? Today it's necessary.
Yes.
It doesn't mean we have to keep it the way it was for the past 50 years.
Correct.
All this stuff was done through urban renewal in the 60s and 70s, and people were moving out of the city to the suburbs, and that's when you had the demolition of a lot of our historic structures. That's why you have so many parking lots. That's why the Black community was eviscerated, was this highway system.
Exactly.
It was urban
That's exactly
renewal. It was a national policy. Tampa's not the only victim.
No, not at all. It happened everywhere.
It happened everywhere. But I believe there's a way to make it better. There's a way to recognize, hey, look, it is what it is, but let's figure out a way to move forward.
How do we fix it?
And make the best of what we have.
Yeah.
You can't take it away.
No, you cannot take it away. That ship sailed.
Yeah.
Right? That's never going to happen. But figuring out how do you connect everything, underneath and put the pieces that are broken back together is essential.
Totally agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kimberlee, how can people stay in touch?
So they can visit our Instagram, and that is Gas Worx. We have an email, and that is tampa.info@goldsgym.net. And within a few weeks here on June 29th, they can just walk through the doors.
Let's go.
Yep. Online, we have links on our Instagram link tree.
Did you mention website?
Sign up. Yeah. Yeah. We have a link. The best thing to do is go to Instagram, go to that link tree link.
Got it.
Right there, because that'll get you to our website, free pass, membership signups, information, a fact page that I carefully wrote with a million questions answered. So yes, you can get to a lot of what you need there. And then, we'll throw this podcast up on there too. I think we're already on the YouTube channel.
Hit the
on the last one.
Hit the frequently asked questions, Tyler. Scroll down a little bit. Let's see what we got real quick as we wrap up.
Yeah, lots of.
Oh yeah, you went through here for sure.
Oh,
Club
yeah.
hours. What are the hours? Let me see this.
So Monday through Friday we're 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. And then Saturday, Sunday, we are 7 to 9. So we do have later hours than most gyms around here, slightly later, which I think will be helpful. A lot of people have asked about 24/7. You can click on that if you want to, Tyler.
He can't see a damn thing from where he's sitting.
Okay. A lot of people have asked, why are you not 24/7? I'm like, there's a lot that goes into being a 24-hour gym. There's insurance, there's staffing requirements. The insurance costs are much higher if you're open overnight and really never close. And there's a lot of factors involved there. The liability is higher overnight. Your staffing is more expensive overnight. So if you're not staffed during those hours, insurance is almost unaffordable. So that's why a lot of gyms do not opt for the 24/7, just so people understand how that works. Down the road, maybe later when we're an operating gym and have a lot of members, maybe we explore
11
it.
p.m. is pretty damn good.
I'm not working out after 11, so.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I guess there'd be no one in there at like 3 a.m. But,
maybe, yeah.
Although you might be surprised. Go one up membership options. Yeah. So what are we looking at in terms of price, membership options, stuff like that?
If you want to click on that. So we have our founding membership. It's available through opening. Once we open, founding member goes away. So that's going to be your best bang for your buck. It's pretty much much most everything except cold plunge, although it offers 3 free months of cold plunge. It can be added on after. But that's probably the best deal overall with all kinds of perks. If you're not into perks, take a look at the strength plan, which is our least expensive plan at roughly about $80 a month. The performance plan includes cold plunge, unlimited basically. Cold plunge will be in the member app. There will be a way to schedule your cold plunge time. It's not just a first come first serve. So our members will be able to schedule their own block of time to use our cold plunge room, which should be cool. So yeah, so there are membership options, and if anybody has questions about that, they can email us or DM us on Instagram. We're happy to answer any questions, and tell everybody to sign up now. These are going to be our best rates, best prices, best plans. So, and it's worth it. You've seen it. It's worth it. A lot of people have kind of questioned, oh, you're $100 a month. And I'm like, we're bringing a high quality gym into this neighborhood, so you're getting a lot for that. To me, it's a great value.
I think you did an Instagram post where you laid out everything you spent on this gym, and then you're like, and you can have all this for $60 a month.
Yeah,
or whatever it is.
$80 a month.
I thought that was
$80 to
great.
$100.
That's such a good way to put it too, because you've gone so far and beyond in the quality. People need to see it for themselves, to be honest, to really understand the membership level. Like they need to go in and they need to feel it out.
Of course. And, and if they don't feel like they want to join ahead of time and they want to, kind of roll the dice on any price increases or whatever, and they feel more comfortable, sign up for that free pass, come in, give us a look-see. So we'll keep these, at least the performance and strength plans. We'll probably keep those just like they are here for at least a couple weeks after we open, so people have a chance to use that free pass and still take advantage of the, the $1 to join and all of that. So we'll leave that alone for a couple weeks, but these prices aren't going to last forever. Just like in any gym, prices always end up going up, and they're increasing costs, and it comes it comes quick with increasing insurance costs and everything. It's a lot.
I would imagine so.
It's a lot, but anyway. So I digress. But yeah, here are our options for memberships, and we're looking forward to seeing everybody there.
Love it. You'll have a couple weeks for that founding membership. People, check it out.
Yeah.
Love it. All right, Kimberlee, you're freaking awesome.
Oh,
Thanks for coming on.
I love you guys. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for having me again. Can't wait to see you guys in Golds.
Beautiful. All right. Bye, everybody.
Okay.
See you next week.
See ya.
Thank you guys for watching this episode. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like it. Check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel. Give us a comment. Give us some feedback. We want to know how we're doing. Thanks for watching. Bye, everybody.